Hello, welcome to my channel. Now, a lot of people don't realize this, but the world of private investing isn't just for venture capitalists or the ultra wealthy anymore. According to a 2025 SEC report, around 12.6% of individuals in the US now qualify as accredited investors. That's just over 1 in 8 people. At a household level, the number is 1 in 5. In comparison, back in 1983, that number was only about 2% of all US households. Part of this is to do with the thresholds for qualifying as accredited investors in the US hasn't been adjusted for inflation over time. But if these thresholds stay unchanged, by 2032, it could rise to 1 in 3 households. Now, I mention this because a lot of platforms have become available in recent years that facilitate investing into private companies for accredited investors. So if you believe you belong to that category or aspire to, this video is for you. The potential upside of pre-IPO private companies is tempting. However, even with late-stage private companies, the kind that accredited investors can actually access through platforms like Hiive and EquityZen, the results can still be unpredictable. Some of these deals can still be hugely profitable. For example, investors who bought Airbnb shares during the 2020 dip doubled or even tripled their money when it went public. Even SpaceX investors in recent secondary rounds have seen paper gains of 2 to 3x. But it's not always smooth sailing. Late-stage investors in WeWork or Klarna watched their valuation collapse by over 80%. Even companies that survived, like Instacart, went public at a fraction of their previous valuation. So here's the truth. Just because you can invest doesn't mean you should, not without doing proper due diligence. Many accredited investors today fall into that middle ground with comfortable net worth, but not quite VC rich. You may have over $1 million in net worth, but you don't have access to a team of analysts or private clubs and insider deal flow. Yet, with platforms like Hiive and EquityZen, you can also invest in private companies like the super rich do. You can now buy shares of late-stage private companies, names like SpaceX, Stripe, or Grok. These deals are typically open to accredited investors based both inside and outside the US. So if you're in the UK like me, or in Canada or Australia, and many other developed countries in Europe, you can also have access to these deals. But very importantly, if you're investing through these platforms, you need to do your own research. That's exactly why in this video, I will show you step by step how I research private companies before I invest, using real tools and public data that you can access to. Unlike public companies, private companies don't publish their quarterly results or audited statement. Their prices aren't transparent either. That means it's on you to piece the story together, to know who's behind the company, how strong it really is, and what kind of shares you're buying. Because even late-stage companies that sound safe can still fall apart when valuations reset or liquidity dries up. The first step to do your research is to check that the company actually exists and the deal you're participating in is legit. And you can verify this through public filings. This matters especially when you are purchasing a private company's share through platforms like Hiive or EquityZen, because typically you are not going to hold the shares directly, but you are investing through a fund, an SPV, special purpose vehicle. That SPV is named something like Hiive SpaceX Series 1, a series of Hiive SpaceX LLC. And what you can look for is the Form D. And you can search for this SPV's name on public databases like the SEC EDGAR or an online database like Disclosure Quest. For those who don't know, Form D is a regulatory disclosure that must be submitted when an entity raises money under Regulation D. It shows the date, the amount, and the type of securities being offered, as well as the associated parties raising this money. For example, Hiive Grok Series 3 filed a Form D to raise money on 16th of January 2025, showing $2.42 million in funding. This gives you concrete evidence that the offering is real, and you can use it to cross-check what is being offered to you. Now, one caveat is that just because you don't find a Form D doesn't necessarily mean the deal is illegit. Sometimes the SPV hasn't completed its first sale yet, and the legal requirement for filing a Form D doesn't kick in until 15 days after the first sale. However, once money starts getting accepted, if you still don't see a Form D being filed within 15 days, then that is potentially a red flag. So in short, here are the 4 steps to follow. Get the exact SPV name, not just the name of the company you are investing in. Then search for the SPV name on the SEC EDGAR website or the filing databases you can find. Look at the Form D, check the date, the amount, and the issuer. If any information doesn't tally up, question it with the fundraiser or the platform you are dealing with directly. If you cannot find the Form D altogether, proceed with caution. Once you've verified that the deal is legit, you can confidently move on to the next steps, checking incorporation, structure, business fundamentals, and so on. Next, I look for the certificate of incorporation. This shows the company's structure, share classes issued, as well as the rights and preferential terms, if any, attached to each share class. I've actually recently used ChatGPT to help me locate this document for a company I was researching. I was completely blown away by how competent ChatGPT is. With its help, I was able to download this certificate of incorporation for free without having to search for it myself. But sometimes, especially for the latest filing of the certificate of incorporation, you may have to pay a small fee on a government website like the state of Delaware in order to get access. And within this document, I was able to find out the existing share classes, how much was raised at each funding round, mapped to each class of preferred shares, as well as the terms and rights attached to each preferred share class, such as voting rights, liquidation reference, and conversion ratio. If you've watched my previous video, you would understand these are essential elements attached to preferred shares of a private company, and they can make a huge difference when it comes to your investing outcome. If you haven't seen that video, check it out here. Next step, I built a timeline using previous funding rounds, revenue milestones, and major investors. Platforms like Hiive and EquityZen can give you an indication of secondary pricing as well as current demand. EquityZen in particular can present the cap table of a private company in a well-organized format, making it very easy for you to see how many funding rounds there have been and how much money has been raised at each round, and also the implied prices paid by each round's investors. The table also aggregates the information so you have a very clear idea of how much has been raised in total and what is the latest implied price. It also provides the company's financial data, if available, in terms of revenue growth and projections, plus its market position and challenges, as you can see on this page. If you're interested, check out this video by EquityZen that explains how this platform can help you research private companies. In addition, there are great private market data aggregators like PM Insights that provides overview and valuation data on individual companies, as well as accessipos.com, which evaluates each private company's IPO potential. It's well worth a visit. Lastly, I also track whether big names like ARK Venture Funds are still holding the company I'm interested in. There is a lot of transparency with ARK Venture Fund on their website, where you can find the full list of holdings by this particular fund, so you can track their trading activity over time. If a fund quietly exits a particular company, then that's a red flag. That often says a lot about confidence levels, and you'd want to pay attention. Step 4. Look at what the company actually does. Who are their customers? And how do they make a profit? If I can't explain how the company make money in one clear sentence, I pause there and dig deeper. Here, AI tools like ChatGPT comes in extremely handy. I often use it to help me summarize the competitors and industry dynamics. It helps reveal whether the company you're interested in is truly unique or they are just one of many players in the same space. As mentioned, you can also use websites like PM Insights or accessipos.com to help you gauge the market landscape, the competition, and the outlook of a particular company. Finally, you can keep track of real-time news about the company by setting up Google Alerts. I've used this method myself, and it has alerted me to some very important fresh news in the market that helped me build an overall picture about a company and keep track of how well or not so well they are doing. Step 5, know what kind of shares you are buying. On secondary platforms, you can either buy preferred shares or common shares, but the chances are you are buying common shares, which are often held by ex-employees who are looking to sell. These shares have no voting rights or liquidation preference, which differ significantly from preferred shares. And you're often buying through an SPV, which can charge you management fees or carried interest. Although from my recent experience on Hiive, it is also possible that an SPV does not charge any additional fees apart from an one-off commission at the time of purchase. So make sure you check that out too. Always ask yourself, what exactly am I buying and who am I buying it from? Next, I search for regulatory filings and any lawsuits records. A simple Google search like company name plus lawsuits or company name plus SEC investigation can tell you more than a piece of press release ever will. Finally, think about your exit. Will this company actually go public or get acquired, or could you be locked in for 10 years? Being honest about that timeline can really help you size up the company properly. Now, I'm not saying if a company is going to take 10 years before they go public is not worth investing, but it all depends on your circumstances and risk tolerance, as well as your assessment of how much upside there might be in this company. Being an accredited investor doesn't mean you are protected. It means you are responsible for your own investment decisions. It can be a very empowering position to be. You don't need a VC or private clubs to do solid due diligence, but you do need curiosity, discipline, humility, and the right tools. I hope this video has been helpful. If so, please click the like button. It really helps other people find my content. And if you want to see a real-life example of how I researched a particular private company, don't miss my next video. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to my channel, hit that notification bell, and share this video with someone who might be thinking of investing in private companies. And as always, if you have any questions or your own due diligence tips, please drop it in the comments. I would love to read your insights over there. See you next time.